Okay, what we're going to talk about today again is a quick going over of the well, some of the problems you can have with these type of taps. These are what we call single pillar taps, very common. That's a typical basin tap, and that's a typical bath tap there, obviously slightly bigger. Now obviously some of the problems you can have, some of you will be very familiar with, is a dripping tap. It's very common, and what we need to do to fix that is to take the headgear out here. On this one it's underneath the handle. Take the headgear out, and that's a typical headgear there. You can see that. That's what you call the headgear, and inside is a washer, this rubber washer here, and that sometimes goes very hard or it can break or whatever, and that's when you get the drip. So it's very simple. You pull that washer off, it'll just prise off, pull off like that, and then you put a new one up, just push it on. Some of them have got like a screw in the middle, but it's very simple to do. The problem can arise is trying to get this out of the tap, because when these this is called the headgear, by the way. When this is put into the tap, when it's been made, it's been done by a machine, and it kind of over tightened, and then of course it's been sat there for 10 years. You get all the corrosion and lime scale on it, and so it becomes impossible to on most of it's impossible to undo, and you'll find that if you try and do it. So what you'll do is you'll put a spanner on here, and then try and hold the tap and pull it like that, and what will happen 9 times out of 10, the tap will spin around in its seating on the bath or the sink. Now the problem with that is you've got a connection underneath here, and it can disturb that, and then you'll cause a leak underneath. So it's quite imperative that you don't spin the tap at all. In fact, in all type sinks where the hole in the sink is square and not round, you're very careful there, because this tap will be set in putty, which will be rock solid, and any turning of that tap in the sink will split it. That's the end of the sink. It'll just split it right away across. Do not attempt it on an old sink yourself. So just going to go from some of the tools that we offer to overcome some of these problems. So the first thing you need to do is remove the tap handle. That's this bit here. Now straight away you can run into a problem with this as well. On this one you have a cap which screws on the top. This is quite a not an expensive one, but it's a better class tap. So you take that out, and then the handle will come off. Now in an ideal world, now a lot of the time this will be stuck solid, so we do a tool called a tap handle puller should it be needed, and how that works is like this. And this type of tap, which we call the capstan head tap, you've got these lobes which stick out here, so you place the puller on like that, place the lobes through the holes. The spindle, screwed spindle, which is in the middle, goes. This is of course when you've taken off the cap, and by the way, some of these caps can just prise out, or just get a screwdriver and prise the cap out. Try and be careful with it, because you can damage it. So on this one, it screws down on the spindle on the inside, and then you can see there it pushes on the spindle and pulls on the head, and it will pull it off, make no mistake. Now if you've got this type here, this is called the kind of the bonnet type handle. You turn the legs around like that, and turn that leg around like that, so both legs are basically, so the feet are pointing inwards. You put that there and hook it underneath the bonnet, and I'm going to leave the screw on that one because it'll just pop off. But basically you screw that down, take the screw out, prise the cap off, the cap will just come off, prise it off with a screwdriver, and then place that on like that, so it's on the top of the spindle. Place the feet underneath the outer bottom edge of the handle, because these can be stuck as well. These can be actually just as bad, really badly stuck. So you can see now, as the pressure is going down onto the middle spindle, the 2 feet there are pulling it up, and it will pull it up. So that will pull that one up and off. So that's a tap. We call it a two-way tap handle puller. That's a two-way tap handle because it pulls in two ways. On some of these, the screw's not on the top. On the very old ones, the screw's on the side. These are the ones you've got to be careful with. The screw's not on the top, it's on the side. So take that screw out, and then because you'll have a white ceramic top on here marked hot or cold, don't try and prise that out whatever you do, because you'll damage it. You'll never be able to replace it. Leave that alone. Take the screw out and see if it'll come off. It probably won't if it's a very old tap. So for these type, we can't push on the spindle. We use the what we call the tap handle pusher, and that goes underneath there like that. You see these two plates, and as you screw the screw down, the plates separate and it pushes from the gland nut there, or it could be the bonnet, doesn't matter, and then it'll push massive pressure on the handle and push it off. That will give massive pressure. Obviously you need a 13mm spanner on this, and that will push it off. So that'll be your first possible problem. The next probable problem will be undoing this bit here. Now we do a tool called the Easy Tap Splitter. Some of you may well have heard of it. And it's this is the tool. This is the kit in its case, and inside you get the full set, which will sort this problem out. This is our biggest seller. It's called the Tap Splitter Basic, and everything is in here to sort that job out. So how does it work? If you look here, you've got a blue spout sleeve, pull spanner, small adjusting spanner, the 8mm pull rod, and we give you a few washers as well, which will fit most taps. In here you have hexagon adapters, 4 sizes, which will fit most taps, which are 17mm, 17.5mm, 19mm, 22mm. They will fit most standard taps in the UK. We also do, on top of that, as an extra if you're required, some bigger ones, which are these, which are the 20.5mm, 23mm, 24mm and 25mm. These are usually used on bath taps, which are bigger. So we do them as an extra. We do the whole lot in one kit called the Tap Kit Pro, which is more professionals really, because some people don't require to buy all the hexes, they just want the 1 or 2. So just to let you know, we do extras there. Now if you're going to be if you're not sure what size your head is, I strongly recommend that how you can deal with this is to get like a shifting spanner, adjustable spanner, put it onto the tap like that. You probably already tried it using these anyway. Put it on the tap, take it off, and just get a tape measure and measure between the gap there, and that will tell you what size your head nut is, but will probably be the sizes which are in the kit anyway. On the bath taps it's more likely to be the bigger ones. So quickly show you how it works. So we have the spout sleeve. This is made out of nylon 66 glass reinforced plastic. We've only had one broke, which we can't understand, but one out of thousands and thousands. So how this works, this will go over your spout like that. And you can see there that's very loose. So we give you a couple of reducing rubber liners, which are these inside as well. So what you do, you put the bigger one in first and try that. Still loose, so you put the smaller liner into the bigger liner like that, push it in, and that goes over like that. That's It's not super tight, but this is a very thin spout. It doesn't matter, it'll still do the job. So that's on there. The next thing we need to do is to deal with this nut. So get your hex inserts, these, and try them over. First one doesn't fit, 17mm doesn't fit, 17.5mm doesn't fit, 19mm doesn't fit, 22mm fits pretty good. So we're going to use this one here. So the next thing we need to do is to get the pulling spanner, which is this. Place the hex inside like that. Now this can go two ways. It will determine the angle when you put it on the tap. You can put it in like that, or you can move it up a bit and put it in like that. Just turn it one notch within the spanner like that. That's pretty tight in there now actually. That's ready. And then we give you this clamp. And the clamp goes over the end. You tighten it up with a screwdriver, of course. Tighten it onto there, and that will clamp it together as well. Back off this screw. Back that right off. Show you what that does in a minute. And then place the spanner at a roughly 45 degrees over. That's probably in the wrong place actually, it just shows that's in the wrong place. So I can turn that around now and watch it change the angle. If I take that out, it's pretty tight in here actually, and just turn it one notch and then put the clamp back on, tighten the screw up, and you'll see the angle will change now. Perfect. It's about 45 degrees. And this screw here, you just screw it up like that with your fingers, you don't need a screwdriver, and it'll just hit the headgear there and kind of just hold it sort of horizontal, ready. Next thing you do is get the pull bar or the eye bolt. It's an M8, very strong eye bolt. There's a nut on the end here, screw the end up, place the eye end over the end of the lobe on the end of the spanner, and then place the threaded part into the slot. There's a slot there if you can see, slot in there. Very simple, put that into there and that into there. That goes in like that. And then tighten that up finger tight. You'll have obviously more time than I will, so don't worry about it. You feel it getting kind of just tightening up. Might take a bit of time, but it doesn't really matter. It's going to save you a lot of time in the long run, believe me. So that's like that. Next thing you know, we get the adjusting spanner, little adjusting spanner, put it onto there and just turn it like that with your finger. Now as it turns, it'll get tighter and tighter, and believe me, it will pull with massive pressure, to half a ton of pressure on that spanner, pulling the spanner towards the spout. Now this one's not, obviously it's loose, so you would usually be a bit tighter than this, but it doesn't matter. You can see the principle. So just keep pulling that across like that, and as you can see, it will pull that towards there and crack the joint there, and then the thing will be loose. It only has to turn 1/8 of an inch, and that's enough. And then once that's done, strip it all down, take that off. Take that off, take the spout sleeve off, and then you will find, guaranteed, that the head gear will be loose and ready to remove. So that's all been done. That washes pretty good. Doesn't need changing, but if it does, just prise that off, put a new one on, and when you're finished, screw it back. Of course, you turn the water off before you do this. I think I'd have to tell you that, but you would. And then tighten it up. I don't put this back in super tight, just hold it there a bit and then use your spanner and just tweak it up. It doesn't have to be massively tight, but it has to be tight, because if it's not tight and then you turn the tap on, it'll screw that out. So it has to be reasonably tight. So if you notice there's not one tiny bit of rotation on the tap itself. All the pressure is contained within the tap. And like I say, suitable for single pillar taps, not mixers. Sometimes it can be used on mixers, but not all the time. Sometimes we find some customers get away with it on a mixer tap, but only on the left hand side of the mixer, not the right, because it pulls from left to right. If it was on this side, it'd be tightening it up on the other side. But never mind, it's made for single taps, because these are the ones that spin anyway. So sink taps in your kitchen, sink tap, wash basin taps in your bathroom. The biggest problem is bath taps, because they're a bigger, heavier sort of construction, and they're really tight. And if you decided to change the taps on your bath, then you're in for a hell of a battle, because you can't get at them. So you need to get that headgear out if the tap's dripping. So that's the tools we offer. It's called the Easy Tap Splitter, or the Tap Splitter Basic. We do a compact tap splitter and a Tap Kit Pro. Tap Kit Pro does everything inside it. So that's the compact tap splitter, Easy Tap Splitter, or Tap Kit Pro. You get a few more bits and pieces in the Tap Kit Pro as well. So that's it. That will solve your problems. Sort your tap out, stop the drip, and then if you get hold of the tool, of course, if you look after it, you've got it for life. And just make sure you don't lend it to your neighbours, because you probably won't get it back. Anyway, so happy tap fixing. It's from ABD Tools, and thanks for watching.